Hi everyone, today we're going to be talking about the 13 watt and 22 watt LED regular bulbs we have for Sansi. They come in two ranges, so they come in 3000K and 5000K. So a 3000K color temperature is kind of like a yellowish, orangey kind of beam, and a 5000K daylight beam is kind of close to replicating natural sunlight. So as you can see from the bulbs, they actually come in, as they come in two different wattages and powers, they also come in two different sizes. So the smaller, lower wattage bulb is actually an A19, and the larger, more higher power bulb is an A21. So today we're just going to kind of go through some of the specifications and the details of each bulb and kind of how you can use them around the home, and then we'll kind of plug it in later and we can see them in action as well. So first of all, we'll just kind of talk about the 13 watt bulb. In terms of the 13 watt bulb, the incandescent equivalent is 100 watts. So for the size of this bulb, there's actually a lot of brightness coming out of it, as it's kind of a 100 watt equivalent. So it's actually smaller than most 100 watt equivalents. When we go through some of the specifications later, we'll kind of talk about the size. As you can see now, just in my hand, it's kind of like a small size bulb. It could fit really in any fixture around the home, as it's really small and lightweight, and it's kind of got a very high beam power. So in terms of specifications, it puts out 1600 lumens from 13 watts. So that's actually over 100 lumens per watt. So the efficiency of this bulb is actually really high, and the brightness as well. So 1600 watts just coming from one bulb, 1600 lumens coming from one bulb can kind of fill a lot of space within a room. And if you had two, you can kind of fill a very large room with a lot of light. So combining 1600 lumens with 5000K, a daylight beam would kind of be really bright inside the home. It'd be kind of more useful within an office, a home office, or the kitchen, or even a workshop possibly. It's just kind of, that kind of brightness and color temperature is more kind of task lighting based. But if you would like, you can kind of put it around the home, especially within lampshades in the bedroom or something, and then you can kind of get like a really bright beam within your home with maybe a cover, reducing the kind of brightness in the room. So in terms of the actual design of the bulb, it's an A19. So A19 actually refers to the shape and the size of the bulb. So in terms of the A shape, so an A shape is actually kind of the regular shaped bulb you get from incandescent as well. So they're all kind of pear-shaped. As you can see, there's a different bulb, like it's an A21, so the size is different, but the shape is similar, they're all the same. So A-shaped bulbs are actually all the same shape, it's just the number changes with the diameter of the bulb. So in terms of the A shape, actually it's kind of just a regular, most common shaped bulb. It kind of replicates incandescent bulb shapes and size. So in terms of the size, the 19 from the A19, actually it just kind of replicates the bulb's diameter. So the diameter of a bulb is actually measured in eighths of an inch. So it's 19 eighths of an inch. So actually the diameter of the face of this bulb is around 2.4 inches, maybe 2.3. So 2.3 to 2.4 inches, if you want to be exact. So the diameter of the face of the bulb is actually quite wide for a very small scale bulb. So it means you get a lot of light, a lot of beam coverage, and kind of an even beam throughout your room, especially if you don't have any kind of cover on it, you would see as well. So in terms of the beam coverage, for an A19, the beam coverage is actually 360 degrees as it comes out all across the whole face. So as you can see there, beam will come out from 360 degrees due to the shape of the bulb. So this regular pear shape is actually really useful in kind of trying to produce evenly distributed light. We can kind of cover some of the applications of it too. Although we kind of said where you can put it in different rooms, it would depend on the color temperature. So this one I'm holding is actually 3000K. As you won't be able to pick it up on the camera, but in terms of 3000, 5000K bulbs, the 5000K bulb will have kind of yellow colored LED chips, and the 3000K bulb, actually the LED chips are a slightly different color, so they're like an orangey kind of glow. If you get close to them, you'll see the difference. So this kind of, the LED chips kind of put out different colors, so they're a different color. As we kind of talk about the applications for this kind of bulb, this is a 3000K, so around the home this could be used in a bedroom, a dining room, or a living room. So it's kind of more for comfort and producing like a warm glow within a room. So it's still kind of the same output as the 5000K beam. So it will still put out 1600 lumens. It's the same kind of power and lighting. It's just it comes out at a different color temperature. So it will be kind of a warmer kind of glow. And when we plug it in later, you can take a look as well. So they're kind of more applicable for kind of more comfy rooms within the home. And the 5000K would kind of be better for task lighting or general lighting. So this is more for kind of ambient, and this one is more for kind of task lighting or something that is like a light to work underneath. So now we kind of go through the structure and the design of each bulb. So both the bulbs kind of, although they look like slightly different, actually the design and the way they kind of function is the same. So although both of them have hollow bodies, first of all, so you kind of see that they have hollow bodies. This is to kind of promote air convection away from the LED chips on the top of the bulb. So on the top of the bulb you can see they both have ceramic heat sinks. So ceramic heat sinks, the best part about this bulb is the ceramic heat sink, as it kind of has with the wide diameter, it means this heat sink can have a wide surface area. So the wider the surface area, the more heat is going to be dissipated away from the LED chip. So when you use this in a combination with the hollow body as well, with the air convection coming through the bottom of the light, a lot of heat won't be being collected within the bulb, and the lifetime should be prolonged. So what are the advantages of using ceramic heat sinks as opposed to traditional aluminium ones, as regular LEDs do? If you can see, maybe with a bigger version of the omnidirectional bulb, which we'll speak about later, you can see that the LED chip is actually directly attached right to the ceramic heat sink. So actually on the top of the light there's still ceramic here, and then the LED chips are directly attached to the ceramic heat sink too. So this means that the heat is just generally moved away through this wide surface area ceramic heat sink all the way throughout the body of the bulb. So in terms of comparing ceramic heat sinks towards aluminium, ceramic heat sink reduces the need for any extra parts. So as you can see with the hollow body, there's no internal fans, and there's no PC boards or thermal adhesive used on top of the ceramic heat sink. So the LED chips are just directly attached. So overall, the most basic description of it is less parts, so there will be less heat. So less problems. So you've only got less parts, less heat, less problems. So the life of the light should last a lot longer than regular aluminium LED heat sink. So now we can go through the A21 shape. So again, the A21 shape, obviously it's much bigger than the A19, as you can see. Although actually they they have different sizes, but they're both interchangeable. So you can use an A19 in the same place as the A21 bulb. So again, it's the classic pear shape, it's just a wider diameter phase. Is there an actual difference between A21 and A19? In terms of their performance and where they can be used, not particularly. It would just depend on whether the A21 will fit in the same fixture as the A19. So they're using the same places around the home. So you could use this in the kitchen, this one in a kitchen as well, and it just depends on the size of your lighting fixture. So in terms of the one difference between an A21 and an A19, it's just because the A21 is it's more of a manufacturing reason, as they run at higher powered, higher wattage, and they produce brighter beams. So an A21, the larger body is just for manufacturing reasons, just to make it easier to remove the higher heat away from the LED chip. So if you had a larger beam and power coming through this smaller bulb, there would be more heat within the heat sink and the light. So they just make a bigger bulb just to reduce the heat away from the LED chip. So now we'll just take a look at some of the bulbs in action, and you can see what the beam looks like and how it would look within a home scenario. So first of all, we'll look at the 13 watt version. This is the A19. So as we turn it on there, you can see there's a daylight beam coming out from it. If you hold it up, you can see here that it covers a wider area. The beam coverage is coming out at, it looks around 270 degrees. So it's a wide beam angle. As you can see with 5000K daylight as well, you put a lampshade over it just to bring that in and direct it more towards a certain area in the home. So you could actually use it as accent or general lighting as well. But overall with 5000K, it's mainly used for general or task lighting because of the intensity of the beam, as you can maybe pick up on the video. So if we switch this one off, we can go through and try the larger bulb. So as you can see, this is a little bit of a smaller fixture, so the A19 would maybe fit a little bit better in this smaller fixture, but the A21 fits into the same place anyway, so it's not really a problem. This one should be a 3000K beam, so the glow should be more orange, like orangey yellow and warmer. So if you had this within your living room or dining room, it produce a warm glow. If you had a lamp, you'd probably generally have a lampshade covering it like this. So to reduce the beam, within the video we'll just use my hands as a lampshade. As you can see, I can cover the beam, cover the light, with my bare hands, so obviously it's not running at a very high temperature or anything. There's no kind of dangers of kind of high temperature running or anything happening. So the bulbs run at a relatively low temperature too, which is great. If you leave it on for a very long time, maybe the body would be hot, so it's kind of not recommended to kind of touch the body as I'm doing in the video, but obviously it hasn't been on for very long now, so you can obviously touch it perfectly fine. But I wouldn't recommend it if you have it on for like maybe 6 to 7 hours, it might be hot. So in terms of this light, you can kind of see here, I'll just remove my hands quickly so you can see the kind of coverage of the beam. This definitely comes out at maybe 270 to kind of 300 degrees. As you can see, the whole body of the top of the light is covered in LED chips. So the whole thing is covered in LED chips. This means you can kind of use this in the garage or in the living room to light up kind of a whole specific area. However, if you kind of wanted to bring the intensity down or the brightness within a certain area, you could just cover it with a lampshade or something. So we'll turn this one off and kind of reduce the light in the video. So in terms of using the 3000K kind of beam, it's kind of best used for living rooms or dining rooms or bedroom. So we'll just try a 3000K smaller A19 version too. So we're trying to plug in the 3000K smaller version too, as we say the big old A21 out. So the A19 3000K as well, you kind of get a comparison through the video. You can just see there's a slight difference maybe in the coverage and the beam kind of intensity, but it should be still bright enough to kind of fill a nice area within the home. Actually, in comparison to the omnidirectional bulb, you can kind of see that the beam isn't so intense coming out of this one. The lens on top of the bulb seems to be diffusing the light a little bit better than the regular one, as this is clear glass on the top of this one. This one kind of has a little bit of a frosted kind of look to it, so it's diffusing the beam, not making it so kind of intense, especially within the room, or kind of, so it's better for comfort, or especially for a kind of a bedroom or a living room. So this one is in the A21 version. 3000K is actually very bright and can kind of fill a whole room with light, especially even with 3000K, which kind of indicates the brightness of these bulbs. So the brightness is really high, the intensity is high, and you're not using a lot of power, so you'll be saving a lot of energy, saving a lot of money on your energy bills while getting a lot of light. So we can kind of leave this light on as it's not kind of so intense and bright next to me, so you can kind of get a better idea of a lower color temperature and a kind of less intense kind of beam. So this is 13 watts, A19 version. As you can kind of see, the bulb and the beam actually come out quite nicely. It's kind of softer to your eyes and kind of it's better for more ambient lighting, especially even if you cover it with maybe something like a lampshade. As you see, the light's more directed towards the ground, but kind of it doesn't really lose anything. It's still kind of providing nice kind of energetic light for the room. So I'll just switch it off, and then we can kind of go through any of the general questions we get on our pages about our 13 watt versions and our 22 watt versions. So first of all, we'll just kind of go through some of the first questions about the 13 watt. So can they be used within an enclosed fixture? The 13 watt and the 22 watt, neither of them can be used within enclosed fixtures. LED lights actually need to be enclosed fixture rated, so they have to be specifically built with this. Now, the kind of having an LED bulb that's enclosed fixture rated means it would kind of need to have a kind of temperature sensor within the light to kind of reduce the heat and cut off the power as it gets too hot within the light. So these bulbs don't actually have this, but they can be used within semi-enclosed fixtures as they don't run at too high of a temperature. So if you use it within a semi-enclosed fixture or kind of like a small fixture, I wouldn't worry, it will work perfectly fine. But if it's in a fully enclosed fixture, it will maybe work, but it won't work optimally and for as long as as we list it as. So if you put it within an enclosed fixture, the lifespan will be reduced significantly in comparison to if you just use it as a regular bulb within a lampshade or a semi-enclosed fixture. So the second most popular question we get is kind of the dimensions of a 13 watt bulb. So it's 3.3 inches high, as you can kind of see in my hand. This is from the base to the top. So with the E26 base, which is kind of regular fitting bulb, it's a regular fitting base for regular fixtures. It will fit into any kind of hole or socket. It's 3.3 inches. So 3.3 inches for a 100 watt equivalent is actually very small. It's kind of the smallest I've heard of on the whole LED market. I've never really seen a smaller or a relatively kind of similar sized 100 watt incandescent equivalent. So in terms of the sizing of this bulb, it's actually kind of unique. It's a great way to get a 100 watt equivalent within a very small space. So these are kind of a really nice design and they can kind of fit anywhere within the hole. What certifications do they meet? So the 13 watt itself actually meets UL, ROHS, and FCC standards. So these can kind of be used and trusted within kind of, especially up to American standards. In terms of the 22 watts, these are general questions for both of them. So they kind of cover 3,000 and 5,000. So are they ETL listed? Our 22 watt version, 5,000 and 3,000K are both ETL listed. So that kind of answers that question. Are they instant on? Yes, just like every kind of regular LED, all LED lights are instant on. So apart from the really old designed ones or kind of traditional incandescent or CFLs, they don't run the same. So CFLs actually are not instant on, they're actually very slow to turn on if you switch them on, because it takes them time to heat up and move the kind of vapor thing through the filament. But in terms of LED lights, they're instant on. Any LED light is actually instant on, it's not just kind of Sansi. So all LED lights are instant on. However, our lights do not flicker. Some general or older designed LED lights may flicker or burn out very quickly, as the designs of those times kind of couldn't really keep up to kind of now, the standards now. But in terms of kind of instant on, yes, these lights are instant on. However, they can't be used within dimmers, so they're non-dimmable. If you use them within a dimmer, they will flicker, so you need to be careful about that as well. So they can't be used within enclosed luminaires, and they can't be used with a dimmer. So how much do they weigh? In terms of the 22 watts, actually one bulb is 0.55 pounds. So 0.55 pounds and 0.55 pounds, they come in a twin pack, so there's two bulbs, so that would just be over 1 pound. So as the overall weight of the package will be 1 pound, actually one bulb is 0.5. So with a 0.5 kind of bulb, especially for 22 watts, it's a little bit heavy, but the kind of weight mainly comes from the use of ceramic. So the ceramic heatsink kind of makes up for most of the weight at the top of the light. In terms of the body is kind of lightweight, and the socket is E26, so this is regular size, so any bulb kind of has that kind of weight at the bottom. The body itself, because it's hollow and kind of plastic, is actually lightweight. It's just the ceramic heatsink on the top. Obviously ceramic is heavier than aluminium, kind of other heat sinks being used, so it's definitely heavier than an aluminium bulb, so it kind of means it could be more durable, but overall when you first hold it, it may come as a shock to feel the weight, but 0.5 pounds is not kind of anything too crazy to put within a regular fixture. It will hold there perfectly fine, there won't be any problem. So in terms of our 5-year unlimited warranty, so this kind of comes as a quality guarantee. We offer 5-year warranty. With no questions asked, if you can kind of prove that there's been a quality issue or anything, it's 5 years guarantee. So if there are any issues that come up, which there probably shouldn't be in terms of LED lighting, as they last a long time, you'll definitely get like a full refund, or you can kind of swap for a new kind of replacement. So today we covered our 22 watt version, so the A21. 22 watt version. These are both omnidirectional, and they can be found on the Amazon page as well. So there's a 5,000K beam and a 3,000K beam. So they both have applications. They kind of can both be used within or kind of outside in the garage or something as well. As we kind of got an idea of in the video earlier, with it was plugged in the fixture, the beam from these light or bulbs is actually very wide ranging, and it's kind of very bright. In comparison to the 13 watt, kind of obviously it's almost double the wattage, so the beam is kind of, it's not exactly double. You don't really get double for double in terms of wattage and lumens, but the brightness and intensity is quite a lot more. In terms of 13 watt, these kind of seem more geared towards kind of within the home, within a dining area or a kind of bedroom or living room. So these 13 watts are really good and can kind of be used anywhere around the home. Kind of really practical, especially with 5,000 and 3,000K on offer. If you could get a mix, that would kind of be the best idea, because then you can kind of fill your office, dining room, living room, kind of fill the whole home with a mixture of lights, and then you can kind of get the kind of lighting effect you're looking for. So we really hope you enjoyed the video today about the 5,000 and 3,000K bulbs, and kind of if you're looking to kind of get some, the best idea is to kind of mix and match between 3,000 and 5,000, so your whole home can kind of be filled with different color beams that kind of fit every kind of need your home has. So general task and ambient lighting is kind of what you need. So 5,000 and 3,000K can fit both of those.